Today, what I want you guys to know is how to find hot news. Let's take a little step back. Let's rewind here a few years. When I first started stock trading, one thing that I always realized is that I would always go to finviz.com. I would look at all the top gainers. I would look at all the top losers. And I would say to myself, what do all these top gainers have in common? And the answer is all these top gainers have news. When I see a stock go on a massive spike and I see a stock go on a massive rip and a massive run and goes on a huge breakout, it's from a reason. Same exact thing when we take a look at the S&P 500. Whenever you see a massive red day or a massive green day, there's a reason behind it. Every single supernova breakout, every single market crash, every single bull rally, every single time you see a stock spike over 100%, it's because there is something that's pushing them. And that could be positive phase 3 trial. That could be an agreement, an acquisition, a contract, a partnership. But to be able to find and understand news is such an important and such a crucial topic to be able to master for your trading success. So let's talk about this. So what we have here, team, we want to be looking for news in pre-market. And pre-market trading is trading before the stock market opens. Now, a lot of people don't realize this and a lot of people don't know this, but you can actually trade before the stock market opens. You can trade starting at 4 a.m. Eastern time. If you guys live on California or the West Coast, you can actually start trading at 1 a.m. in the morning. Now, how does this work if the stock market's closed? Well, this is actually trading between brokers. If my broker and someone else within my broker or another broker, if I say, hey, I want to buy shares at the price of $2, and there's another person saying, hey, I want to sell my shares at $2, well, we can make an agreement from broker to broker instead of going through the exchanges. So you could trade all the way from 4 o'clock in the morning, East Coast time, New York, all the way up to 8 o'clock at night. I know the stock market on the East Coast is open from 9:30 to 4, but in reality, you can really trade all the way from 4 in the morning, all the way up to 8 o'clock at night. Now, why is this so important to us? Well, it's important because this is when news comes out. News rarely comes out during the actual day. News comes out from the times of 7 in the morning, usually up till 9 o'clock, and then from 4 o'clock, usually up till around 5:30, 6 o'clock. It's usually 2 hours prior before the market opens and 2 hours after the market closes. So we definitely want to be able to understand how pre-market trading works from 4 a.m. to 9:30 and then all the way from 4 o'clock to 8 p.m. Now, why do we want to trade in pre-market? Why do we want to be able to be the person that is going to be able to get available to this news first? Well, traders, it's pretty common sense. First come, first serve, right? That's what it's all about. Let's think about this as a buffet line. If we are the first person in a buffet line, we have every single option out there. We could go ahead and get whatever we want. But you know what? If we show up an hour, 2 hours late, the cooks may say, hey, we only got pizza left. Oh, I thought you guys said again, you guys had Chinese food and Mexican food and Taiwan food and all this crazy food. Yeah, but all we got is pizza left. Everyone ate everything. If we are the last person to the stock market, we are going to be the person that's buying at the very tippity top of a spike. If we are the last person to show on up, we are going to be getting in at the latest time. Imagine if it was a concert. Imagine your favorite person was performing, right? Guess what happens? I remember this, a perfect example. I wanted to go really see a person that I like, a music artist that I really liked. And my friend was always like, hey, you know what? The concert doesn't start till around 12 o'clock. He's not going to come out till 12 o'clock. Let's show up at 11 o'clock. And I said, hey, well, I kind of want to get a good seat because it was basically just walk in and stand wherever you can find a spot. He didn't want to go. He said, oh, we'll have time. We'll get there an hour early. We were really all the people in the back. We were all the way in the back, barely could see again the guy. And the reason why is because people got there early. Now let's again put this in stock trading terms. What if we were the person that got there early, person that made the tent right in front of the door, Black Friday sales, we walk in, we have all the options, the buffet, we have all the options, the brand new concert, we could stand wherever we want. That's what we really want to be able to get out of the stock market. So yes, I'm telling you right now, the person who wakes up the earliest is the person that's going to have the most advantages because you'll be able to see all the hottest news. You know that the majority of people are still sleeping. If a hot press release comes on out, or if again some global news comes on out, or if again some sort of a stock just starts ripping and running, maybe from a tweet or whatever it may be, you are the person that's awake and could get in on that play. So what's also so great about this is I have tons of traders, tons of friends that essentially finish off their entire day before the stock market even opened. Who here wouldn't mind just trading in pre-market from 7 in the morning till 9 o'clock and then you're done. You're done at 9 in the morning. If you guys are on the West Coast, you guys are done by 6 a.m., then go out and enjoy your life. So essentially what this math problem is we are sacrificing sleep for profit. If you sacrifice sleep, you are going to have better odds to be able to make money. And while I say that, a lot of people say, okay, hey, I'll start waking up early. And then you wake up early one day and then it doesn't ever happen again. So you can't have the best entry if you are the last one to wake up. If people wake up before you, they are going to get better entries. And this is going to come all into, wrap around and full circle once we start talking about the news. How do we trade in pre-market? Let's understand something. We can only do limit orders. We can't do market orders. How can we trade as fast as possible? Trade limit orders as market orders. So jump the ask and the bid. So essentially what this means, guys, and I want every single person to really understand this here, is I'm going to bring this over on my Lightspeed account, okay? So if I want to go ahead and I want to trade in pre-market, what I would do is let's go to PYXS, and let's just imagine at this time, it's 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning, anytime before the stock market even opens on up. So we have this on up. Imagine it's before the stock market opens. You cannot do a market order before the market opens on up. You must do a limit order. Market orders do not work when the market is not open. So when I take a look over on the level 2, I could see that the bids are at 397. I could see the asks are at 398. So what does that mean? That means if I go ahead and I put in 398 and I go ahead and I click buy, I'm going to be filled at 398. You know why? Because there's people willing to sell at 398. I want to get filled at 398. I'm going to get their contracts. But let's just say hypothetically, a big press release just came on out. A huge press release just came on out. And I put an order in at, let's say, the current price or the best price available at 401. Let's remember that I am essentially competing with hundreds to thousands of other people that also see that very hot press release. The time that I type everything out and I click buy, the play may be at 410 and not at $4. Then again, I type out 410, now it's at 430. Now again, now it's at 450, and it seems like I'm always behind it. So the strategy that I use whenever I see very hot news is I essentially just jump the ask. So I'm going to do some small examples here, okay? So what we have here is if I go PYXS 398 limit order and I do 10 shares and I click buy, boom, I should get filled right away. I'm filled at this moment. Same exact thing if I wanted to get out. I can match the bids. I could go 397. I could go ahead and click sell, boom, and it gets me out right away. Took a 10-cent loss right there. So that's, again, absolutely awesome that we can see that. But you know what's also pretty crazy is whenever I see a stock come out with super hot news, if I see the ask at the price of 398, I immediately put my order in at 410. And some people may say, Deck, why would you do 410? You don't want to get filled up there. We are tricking the level 2. The level 2 is programmed and knows that you don't want to get 410. You want to get the best available asking price. So if I again have an order, let's say at 410, and I go ahead and click buy, boom, guess where it just filled me? It just filled me at $4. So what did this essentially do? This just essentially market ordered me in on this play. I had an order at 410. It filled me at $4 because that's the best available price. So in pre-market, stop trying to do this. Stop getting your computer and your keyboard and stop saying, okay, what's the best available price? 3.9. Okay, well, hold on. Now it's spiking really hard. Now it's at 4.15. Hold on. Now it's at 4.20. All you got, just go up 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents higher, and you'll get in right away. You're tricking the level 2. You'll get the best available price. Same exact thing. Let's say you go on a massive spike and you say, I want to get out of 398. Don't try to put in 398. Just put in 390. Click sell. Boom. Now you're out right away, right? You got out at the price of 397. So you could see these orders. I got in at $4. I got out at 397. My order entry was 410. My order entry was 390. But the thing is, we're tricking the level 2 because the level 2 knows, hey, this guy's actually trying to get filled at the best available price. Then we don't want to fill him at 410. Let's give him the best available price. So it's essentially like market ordering into the stock. Okay. And that's how we can basically get in right away in pre-market, and we can never miss out on any sort of big time spike. So that's why this is very important. So far out of this lesson, guys, what do we know? So far out of this lesson, we know that we want to look for hot news. We know hot news comes out in the mornings and the afternoon. We know, of course, pre-market trading, we can trade in the morning and afternoon. And now again, we learned how to be able to get in on pre-market trades, not only just by using limit orders, but be able to essentially use market orders by tricking the level 2. So let's actually start talking about some news. So why do we look for news? Well, news equals volume. Volume equals activity. Hot news equals big spikes or big crashes. First come, first serve in the stock market, as we already talked about. So what time does news come out? News comes out every 30 minutes, and the main PR waves and smaller press release waves every 15 minutes. News can, though, drop at any period. So when we go ahead and let's say take a look at our news scanner here, and let's just go ahead and scroll all the way back down to this morning. This is all the news from today. Nothing like, set up. This is all news from today. We can see that we get news all the way from 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, but you'll notice right around 7 o'clock, we'll have a bunch. So watch this. 7 o'clock, ready? 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Look how much news there is at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock. And then usually again, it starts dying off a little bit, gets a little bit more sporadic. And then we got a couple at 7:15, and then we get 7:30. 7:30, 7:30, 7:30, 7:30, 7:30, 7:30, 7:30, 7:30. And then it starts dying off a little bit. And then we get a couple at 7:45, and then 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock's always a big one. 8 o'clock. Look at all the 8 o'clocks, guys. Look how much news news this is. 8 o'clock, 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 8:01, 8:01, 8:01, 8:01, and then we start dying on off. 8:15, we have a couple. 8:30s. 8:30, 8:30, 8:30, 8:30, 8:30, 8:30, 8:30, 8:30. So, what's so big about this now? Well, traders, not only do we know how to enter in pre-market, now, of course, we know how to be able to trade in pre-market, and on top of that, team, we know when a hot press release is going to be able to come on out. Let's say that there are going to be 100 press releases every single morning. Why is this an advantage to know what time they're going to be able to come on out? Because it's going to be very difficult to do this, guys, all right? I'm going to be honest with you. It's very difficult to do this. Stare at the news scanner from 4 in the morning. I'm not even going to blink. I got to blink, but I'm not going to. It's very difficult to stare at the news scanner from 4 in the morning all the way until 9:30 until the start of the day. That's not realistic. We're humans, right, guys? We can't just stare at a screen the entire time with our eyes burning. So what's so great about it? If there's 100 press releases, I know, hey, Sean, at 7 o'clock, at 7:30, at again 8 o'clock and 8:30, we are going to want to be looking at the news scanner. And you know what? If there's 100 press releases, we're probably going to get, 19 of them right here. We're probably going to get about, 22 of them right here. We're probably going to get, about 30 of them right here. And then we're going to get the last little bit, whatever it may add up towards. I'm just going to say 26 of them right here, right? We know the bulks are going to be in these time frames. And that's usually when the hot news is going to come out. Sure, is there going to be one that randomly comes out at like 8:39? It'll happen every now and then. But the majority of the time, if you stare at the news scanners during these periods, you're going to already have a better chance of winning. So let's keep this party going because we're learning when they come on out and of course, how to be able to trade them. So now it's, of course, we have to be able to think about, well, what defies a good press release? And these are things that we kind of want to be going towards next. So let's, not get too ahead of ourselves, but let's go back to this and say, is news really that important? Absolutely. News is everything. The biggest spikes you have ever seen is going to be from hot press releases. So how do we actually read the news now? Well, we look for keywords, italic font, strong CEO statements, and please, guys, please do not waste your time reading the entire press release. I remember, guys, when I first started, I would read the entire press release, and by the time I was done reading the press release, the stock was already sky high. Please write this down. You only need to read the title. That's it. I've never read more than the title for the last 9 years of trading. All you have to do is read the title because that's all that traders care about. You are looking for these hot keywords. These hot keywords is what makes these stocks go on big spike, big rips, big runs, big pops. So let me just read these out loud. Okay, it's going to take me a second. I really do just want to read them out loud so you really kind of understand what they are. So 1-star word. 1-star words are going to be words that we like, we're not head over heels in love with, should lead towards a little bit of volume, but nothing insane. Phase 1 trial. If a stock gets a grant, any large sum of money, investors are happy, optimistic. They've been accepted. We have new signs, merger, gain. 2-star words. These are again very good words. Phase 2 receives, FDA approval, benefits, beneficial, fast track, breakout, acquires, acquisition, expand and expansion, contract, completes, promising, achieves, achievements, launches. 3-star words. Some of the stocks that lead towards the biggest spike. We have 3-star words. Phase 3, positive, top line, significant, demonstrates, treatment, drug trials, agreement, cancer, partnership, collaboration, improvement, successful, billionaire, increase, awarded, primary. There is again Carl Icahn, who is a billionaire on that as well. Sometimes we see him invest in things. And we also have positive endpoints. What we could also see underneath that in 4 stars, positive CEO statements or positive italic font. So traders, I'm going to make your life easy here. As long as you guys study these hot keywords, you are going to be successful in the stock market. That's pretty great to be able to understand, is if you study these hot keywords, you are going to be able to find right away what are the best plays. So let's just kind of skip to this. What were some of the best plays today? BMEA, I'm just changing it by the change percentage. We can go ahead. Let's take a look over on BMEA today. BMEA, this play, let's go back to about a 10-minute time frame and let's look at all of pre-market. Actually, let's make this a little bit larger. Let's go to a 3-minute time frame. And we could see that this stock was at the price of $16. By the time the stock market opened, the stock was already at $23. Now it's at $29. Why? What's going on here? Well, traders, it says right here, it says, and I'm actually going to bring this up over on Yahoo Finance just because it's a little bit easier to be able to read. But when we go over towards this, it says BMEA. You can head on over to Yahoo Finance. You can scroll on down 7 hours ago. All right, this was this morning. It says Biomea Fusion announces positive data from the initial cohorts of ongoing phase 2 studies, Covalent 111, a BMF 219, patients with type 2 diabetes, 100 mg cohort 3 demonstrating an 89% response rate and 1% median reduction in HbA1c a day at 28. Traders, I know again, we all studied our day 28s of HbA1c and again, the current components of what's going on in the scientific laboratories over on Biomega Fusion. We also understand again, the gravitational pulls of the fabric of space. Guys, what am I talking about? I have no idea. You know what's so great about this? No one understands anything that's going on within this title, okay? I'm telling you right now, when I first started reading this hot press release, when I first started trading, it is very confusing. You get lost, you get a little overwhelmed, but that's why we have our cheat sheet. And our cheat sheet is basically just telling us what should we be looking at. So if I know we have the word positive, here's the word positive right here, and I can see here's the word positive. Now we also have the word phase 2. Okay, positive right here, phase 2 right here. We can also see it's demonstrating. When you demonstrate something, it's always positive. No one says, hey, check this out. Boom, I lost all my money, right? No one ever demonstrates anything bad. Whenever you see the word demonstrates, it's always they're demonstrating something very good. It's like a little kid showing their parent. You know, I used to be able to do a backflip when I just standing on the ground, do a backflip. And then guess what? I want to show my parents. I'd be like, Mom, Dad, check this out. It's not like I demonstrate it and I do something very bad. I'm proud of myself. And when I'm proud of myself, when a business is proud of themselves, they want to be able to show it on off. So we can be able to look at all these hot keywords right here. And now if we wanted to, you know, we could just say to ourselves, go ahead, break this on down. We have Biomega Fusion announces. What do they have announced? Positive data. They're announcing positive data on what? Their phase 2 study. Their phase 2 studies are doing what here? Well, they're demonstrating an 89% response rate. That's all I need to read. So for now on, I can just read it as, hey, positive data, phase 2 studies demonstrate 89% response rate. Boom. Notice what time it came out. 8 o'clock in the morning. 8 o'clock in the morning. I noticed this. I'm watching my news scanner at 8 o'clock in the morning. Let's just scroll on back towards 8 o'clock in the morning here. 8 o'clock is coming on up. I'm watching my news scanner because I know at 8 o'clock, there's going to be something that I really want to be focusing on. 8 o'clock and 47 seconds, I see announces positive data. Immediately, I would click it because I see positive data. Positive data, phase 2 studies. I'm already on my way to my broker. I'm on my way to my broker immediately. I'm heading on over here. I'm going, hey, BMEA. I see this right now at the price of $16.11. $16.11. I'm saying, all right, put this in. That's a positive phase 2 trial. That thing's going to be hot. I'm immediately clicking buy. Boom. Guess what? If I'm watching my news scanner, I'm getting filled right there. I'm getting filled at 16, whatever, 25, 16, 50, wherever it may be at that time. Look at all this profit. Look at all this, team. You literally could be done by 8:48 in the morning. Stock market has an hour to even open on up. You're done. Not only are you done, but you have successfully been able to double, triple, quadruple your account within the last 48 minutes. This is the power of waking up early. This is why, again, being able to trade hot news is so enticing. It's why people absolutely love it. Because if you can study this, and if you, again, are watching, and if you practice it, it's a strategy on all its own. You hear about people being great dip buyers. You hear about people being great shorters. You hear about people, again, swing trading, doing options and doing futures. Why not just wake up, have a news scanner, stare at the news, and say to yourself, okay, whatever stock comes out with the hot keywords, I'm going to buy in right away. Boom. All right, done. Just made my money. So that is something that you want to look for. And if you miss it, you could wait for a dip buy, right? Get in on possible dip buy opportunities. If you miss it, you can always get in a little bit later. You can look for a short sometimes if it has too large of a gap up. So this is all extremely important, team. Make sure that you guys are all set. Make sure you guys take this in and you guys can be fantastic traders from this. Best things to see in a press release. Primary endpoint being reached. Positive cancer result demonstrates phase 3 successful drug treatments. Remember, all these need to be low floats to go on a very big spike. So, low floats, anything under 10 million in float for penny stocks, that's what leads toward these giant plays. Now, we just talked about some of the greatest things to look for. There's also some of the worst things to see in a press release is an offering. When we have a direct offering, it usually leads to a very big drop. So make sure you guys understand that. Here's some examples, right? I already showed you guys an example of today, but you guys can see right here, BPTH. BPTH, massive spike. As you guys can see right here, it announces clinical update on phase 2 studies on acute leukemia. Has to do with cancer, right? Phase 2 and the word cancer are very good. We also can see the study demonstrates clinical improvements with excellence. That's again, very good. You can see ALT, this very big spike back here. I'm just again, grabbing the results. Says announces positive results. Very simple, very easy. And on top of that. So I just want to make sure that you guys got that. I want to make sure that you guys understand that